on the last show in Los Angeles, Louis, my brother Louis J. Gomez and Kurt Metzger came dangerously close to getting into a fist fight. Luckily, we were able to stop that from happening, and I am glad that it didn't actually come to blows between the two of them because, you know, that probably isn't the best way to handle these things. But it did. Look, I got a lot of requests to talk about this situation, and I'm not going to get into the entire history of the thing. I mean, I maybe we could just very briefly cover it, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time.
Starts with the light bulb.
What?
The whole beef.
What light bulb?
Getting lit early.
Oh, yes. Well, it wasn't actually a light
bulb.
bulb. It was a cell phone. But still, it didn't even all
Just
start there.
one flash of a light.
What I thought would be interesting on part of the problem to talk about that would be to kind of maybe give a few thoughts on what type of fighting between men and what type of fisticuffs, if you will, that we consider to be appropriate or not. And not even appropriate, but to be right or wrong. I mean, everything that libertarianism is about and the whole, pretty much all of my political views can be deduced from the non-aggression principle. I mean, it's the reason why I'm against taxation is because I think you're just, you're threatening to throw someone in a cage in order to extort money from them. It's the reason I'm against the war on drugs, the reason I'm against the wars in the Middle East. All of it could really just be deduced from the non-aggression principle, meaning that I think it's wrong to bring violence to peaceful people. I think it's fine to be violent in self-defense, but, I don't think it's okay, morally speaking, to just be violent towards someone who doesn't pose any threat to you and when you're not acting in defense, in self-defense, or in defense of somebody else. So it's really the same reason I would think slavery is wrong or fucking the Holocaust is wrong, anything like that. And it's also the same reason that I think like beating your children is wrong and a whole host of other issues that follow from that principle. And so obviously, when it comes to a fist fight between two guys, I think that, well, look, let's start with the obvious, right? Defending yourself is obviously okay. If somebody attacks you and you fucking defend yourself, do what you gotta fucking do, and good for you for doing it. And if you just attack somebody who's not doing anything to you, then I think that's wrong, and that's an act of aggression. So that's pretty simple. However, I do think that there is an appropriate time where two men can fight, and I wouldn't judge either of them for it. And I think that it's kind of like, it's just sometimes that's what's got to happen. And I think this is something that, it may seem almost kind of like crazy to suggest in modern society, but for most of civilization, that's been something that's just kind of like accepted. Even in America, right? Like there was a thing where you could just like challenge someone to a duel, and then like a couple of fucking congressmen would just have to step outside and like shoot each other. Like I think that's a little bit barbaric. I don't think you should be taking 12 paces and shooting. Like I'd rather not see something where someone has to die at the end of this.
Do you think that ever happened without someone cheating and shooting on 11?
I mean, I can't imagine. I would shoot someone as soon as they challenge me to a duel. You fucking slap me with your glove. If I have a loaded weapon on me, you're getting shot before, you go, I totally accept your duel. And you go, great, see you outside. And you turn around and I'm shooting you in the back of both your kneecaps.
It's like before it even starts, just when they're reading the hear ye, you fucking shoot them. Can I tell you what the funniest scenario would be?
Oh, God, okay. I love that. Go ahead.
Here would be the funniest scenario. You go to shoot early. And you miss because you just have the one bullet, and then you have that awkward moment. Yeah.
Huh? My bad. False start over here. Anyway, what do you do? Just loading up this next one. Just shooting each other with fucking 1770 muskets.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't hurt that bad.
Yeah, I have a feeling they still hurt. But maybe I'm wrong. Why would you put all that time into loading it up if it wasn't even going to hurt?
All right, fair point.
Well, look, so I do think that, You know, there's a weird, I don't know how to put this. There is a regulating force in male-to-male relationships or male-to-male interpersonal kind of dynamics that involves fighting that I think women don't really have. Now, more and more, I'm sure that's not as black and white as it used to be. I mean, if you really keep your ear to the street, and by that I mean you regularly go on worldstarhiphop.com, you will see that women fight sometimes now too. They will just get in fist fights and kind of act like what would traditionally be a male role.
Usually they just stop taking Becky's call for a little bit.
Usually, but if you go to worldstarhiphop.com, a lot of time these bitches are rolling around on the floor, their dresses are up and their panties are out. It's unbelievable that those women will fight when they are not dressed at all to fight. Like,
you need some underwear on if you're gonna go fight.
You're dressed in a way where you're like, win or lose this fight, it's guaranteed your butthole's gonna be on the internet right now. So you gotta really want to fight this person. But luckily in LA there was no fight and no one saw Lewis or Kurt's butthole. I think we can all come together and say we were happy that none of that happened. But I do think that there is a thing that regulates male-to-male conversation, interactions, whatever you want to say, that is always there, that women just don't have. And this is why women will be bitchy to each other in a way that men rarely are. Very rarely. You know, I've seen things where girls call each other fat, like basically to their face. Maybe they don't say it exactly like that. It's a little bit underhanded, but they'll basically just insult each other right to their face. And, you know, it's like this. Men don't really have that because every single male-to-male interaction is regulated by the fact that that dude might punch you in the face. And you might deserve it. Like, there's something you could say to another guy where he will knock you the fuck out and no one will feel bad for you. Like if you're walking down the street and some guy came up to you, let's say you're walking down the street with your girlfriend and some guy walks by and goes, your girlfriend's a whore, and you knock them the fuck out. No one feels bad for that guy. Nobody goes like, well, he just said something and then you attacked him, right? Like, nobody feels bad about that. It's like, that's just like, he deserved it. What we would all say is he had it coming. Yeah. And as a libertarian, I say that too. As somebody who is like obsessed with the non-aggression principle, I'd still say, yeah, that guy had it coming. I don't know what to tell you. He was asking for it.
Getting punched in the face is a good regulator of keeping people in check. That's like in hockey. The fact that you can just bust out a fight in hockey, it keeps people in line. You can't play too dirty. It's like if you just keep checking at someone, at some point they're allowed, you can have a fight. That's why it's also there.
The only reason why I would ever watch hockey.
For the fights?
Not a big hockey fan. Yeah. But the fact that there is a fight could break out, that kind of, the fact that for a little bit in a hockey game, it could break out into an MMA fight. It could break out into the sport I like. It fun. That's the only reason why I'd watch. It's like if you're a baseball fan and every now and then in hockey things got tense and they just played baseball and you'd be like, okay, I guess I could watch hoping that a baseball game happens at some point. But that's, as an MMA fan, I could watch being like, they might fight at some point. Now, I don't know. I would say my in the libertarian perspective, like the strict libertarian perspective, I would say that the law should be, because really libertarianism is a legal philosophy. I would say that the law should be you can't hit someone for that, right?
For like being called a whore?
If someone says your girlfriend's a whore and you hit them, technically speaking, you assaulted them. Now, leaving aside the gray area where you can be like, look, this guy just called my girlfriend a whore. I felt like he was going to take a swing at me. I was defending us. Probably it shouldn't be legal if it was clear that he wasn't posing a physical threat. That being said, if I'm on the jury and someone's charged with that, I'm voting not guilty. I don't care.
Your Honor, if I didn't do something, my girlfriend would have thought I was a pussy, and I wouldn't have gotten blowjobs for a whole year. How do you expect
Case dismissed. That's if I'm the judge, that's my response to that. Case dismissed.